Welcome, everybody, to Creative Companions, where we're all believing mirrors for one another. It's week 7. We're on chapter 7 of The Artist's Way. It's an honor to be here, alive and well and breathing. Glad you're here. If you comment, let me know that you're here. Hi, everybody. Hi, Bonnie, Donna. So everybody gather your things. We're going to be doing mosaics today. Paper towel. So here's what you'll need. You'll need a cardboard, approximately 5 by 5, just a small scrap of cardboard. You'll need some glue. You will need whatever things you gathered to do mosaics with. And if you haven't gathered anything yet, maybe go to your pantry quick. Rice works good. Pasta. I even brought some used wooden matchsticks. Thank you. Dried beans, shells. I have some feathers here. I have some angel hair pasta I broke up. So I'd be curious to see or hear what you all brought to add to your mosaics. So that's what we'll need. And if you could just let me know that you're here. I'll put my glasses on and look at the comments here and see who's here.
I'm here.
Here now.
Here now.
Here now we are. Present. Hi, Joanne. I'm glad you're here.
I'm here.
Very good. All right, so we'll be starting soon with meditation here in just a moment. As you get here, just let me know that you're here. If you're new, we are working with The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. We are on chapter 7 this week, and we'll be talking about recovering a sense of connection. Our art project for this week, we will be making mosaics. So you'll need to gather small objects, glue, and a piece of cardboard. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Pam. Glad you're here. We're just getting our mosaic things together, getting comfortable, getting ourselves something to drink, whatever we need. Googly eyes are fun. I have some googly eyes here. Those are fun for mosaics. So as we're just getting our things together and preparing for meditation, wanted to say once again why we meditate. And there's so many different forms of meditation, and every week we do something a little bit different to introduce you to other things. And we meditate, and this is from The Artist's Way. Julia says, we meditate to get to the other side of our fear, of our negativity, of our moods. Above all, we get beyond the censor. Beyond the reach of the censor's babble, we find our own quiet center. That place where we hear the still small voice that is once our creator's and our own. So we meditate to discover our own identity, our own right place in the scheme of the universe. That's what Julia says. So what does Kim say? Kim says we meditate to come to the present moment. My picture just got dark. We meditate to come to now, to be present, to check in with ourselves, to relax, to go within and be silent. So for today's meditation, I'm going to ask you to look at the objects that you have in front of you and just grab the one that strikes your eye first as, oh, that's a pretty favorite one. For me, I'm going to grab this little itty bitty shell. So we're going to grab an object from our objects there. And I'm going to ask you to just sit in your comfortable meditative position. If your feet touch the floor, put them firmly on the floor. My feet don't touch the floor, so I'm going to curl up here in my seat. And we're just going to start to breathe as we've been doing every week with deep breath in through our nose. And pause. And then the breath going out. And this week, as we follow our breath and continue that breathing in and out through the meditation and just following the breath, we're going to leave our eyes open. And in this meditation, we're going to focus on the object. So the object that you chose, just place that object in your hands and hold your hands maybe in your lap where they'll be comfortable for you to hold them. And it's okay to relax them more as you meditate. And focusing on your breathing, just noticing what you're seeing. And just let your gaze relax on that object while you're also noticing what you're hearing, deepening your breath perhaps, noticing how you're feeling. And just like when your eyes are closed, focusing on your breathing, no thinking necessary. You don't have to think about the object that you're seeing or name it or judge it. It's not good or bad, it only is. Same as you. Just breathing and noticing. You might turn your object over and give yourself a different angle of view. Ah, look what changing your perspective can do. Just focusing on your breathing in and out. As your vision is focused on the object, you might notice your peripheral vision is also aware. Without shifting your gaze, you can also see the things around you while still maintaining that object of focus. Noticing that you still can hear, though you have relaxed more. And focusing on your breathing, the sounds around you only help you relax more. And when you're in this meditative state and focusing on your breathing, should someone need you, should there be an emergency, you'll be able to come right back to the now and handle whatever is there. But in this moment, you can let that all go and just relax and stare at your object. Perhaps you had a little smile on your face as you breathe. And now you can just relax and look around the room. Pull your head up now. Chin up, folks. Coming to the room that you're in, coming to the now. So glad that you're here. Maybe you fell in love with that little object a little bit that you were staring at. I know I did. So maybe you'll make that a significant part of this mosaic that we're going to create today. So while we talk today about recovering a sense of connection, I ask you just to, as often as possible, return to your breath and just let yourself relax for this hour and silence any censor that might want to judge the work that you're creating. And let's not even call it work, the play that you're doing. Any censor that might want to pop up and judge your creative play. Let's work to silence that and just focus on our breathing. So, really, no instruction whatsoever about how to do this mosaic. You have some things in front of you there. Start gluing them and see what happens. We have an hour. And what I'm going to show you an example. This is one I did years ago, and as you see, there's a lot of pieces missing. See here? I had mice, and they ate. Like, this was a woman whose head was made out of corn, and the mice ate it. So since I'm going to be also talking a lot about the chapter and won't have a lot of time to glue, I decided I'm going to revamp this one that I did years ago. But this gives you an idea, and you see I used rice and rocks, and that, you can't really see it, but in here, those are pieces of an amethyst bracelet that broke. And so just like little chunks of amethyst, there's some beans in there. So yeah, so just have fun and glue objects onto your cardboard and see what you make. Um, Mosaics, I like to do them this way, but you could start with a plan. That's not always my style, but you could start and sketch something onto your cardboard that you're going to then glue. You could paint your cardboard first. Um, weekly check-in, morning pages. How's everybody's experience with the morning pages this week? I did write my morning pages. They were very helpful um, to me this week, as still I'm in the process of breaking my addiction. And I have not smoked a cigarette in 2 weeks, y'all. Today's day 14. So a lot of just noticing how that addictive brain works. So I'm making a lot of notes about that. Um, yeah. So I'd be curious to hear how your journaling is going or not going. Um, so the morning pages, as I say every week, 3 pages of brain drain suggested in the morning, first thing, when you're fresh, you're new to the day, it's a new beginning. A lot of times our sensor might be active in the mornings. We might wake up in a funk. And sometimes it's good to write those things down. The censor, with the things, the negative false self is trying to tell us. That's how we address those lies as we've been learning and counter them with new thoughts and then start working with affirmations perhaps in our writing. And an affirmation is a positive thought that we'd like to be so. For example, treating myself as a precious object makes it so. So, writing these things on the daily gets our brain thinking in new ways. So, morning pages. The other basic tool that we use in the artist way is the artist date. An artist date is a block of time. Julie recommends at least an hour once a week that you spend with your artist self doing something that your artist child self would like to do, does like to do. So, any artist dates this week from y'all here? Shout it out for me. What'd you do? Painted.
I use my camera.
Oh, that's new for you then. You haven't done that for a bit, right? So Bonnie says she used her camera. Hey, so did I. And I hadn't done that for a bit either. Um, I took a walk one day. Um, I did not get to paint this week. Isn't that crazy? I don't know. I don't think I painted at all. Hmm. Yeah. Interesting, huh? That's okay. So I'd love to hear you at home, what your artist dates were, if you took one, help give us some ideas. Um, An artist date could be hanging out, cooking your favorite thing for yourself, just because you want that tasty whatever today. Often we get in the habit of always cooking for someone else. We're always cooking for our family. What if you just took a time to just cook for yourself, and make exactly what you like, how you like it, you know? For me, as spicy as possible if I make it for myself, because with my family, I had to make it not spicy because that little Aubrey and her heartburn and such. So, yeah, so those are some ideas for artist dates. And then, did anyone read the chapter this week? We're on chapter 7. Did you get a chance to read the chapter? Anybody here?
I opened to it. I read the first page.
Good. So,
First paragraph.
all right, progress. I read it later in the week than I usually do, but I read it. Um, so and Nancy says she played her steel drum. I like that. Um, I did. Did I play my banjo even? I'm trying to do the week in review here. All right, so recovering a sense of connection. And the first thing she talks about is listening, which we've been practicing the art of listening with our meditation. Not only are we listening to the sounds around us, but once we're like in that meditative state, we're listening for that small voice, for ourself, for our knowing, for our understanding. And the morning pages train us to hear past our sensor. Like I was saying, in the morning pages, your sensor might be real loud in the morning and saying a lot of negative things to you. But I know myself, I learn that I can quickly turn that around and counter those negative thoughts and hear past my sensor, like Julia says. And then the artist date helps you to pick up on the voice of inspiration. While we're doing these apparently silly activities unconnected to the actual art of making art, they're actually critical to the creative process because they're helping you to get in touch with that part of you that creates, freeing that part up. Well, gluing feathers is not working real well for me at the moment, but we'll get it. I know. I know what to do. Um, Art is not about thinking something up. It's quite the opposite. It's about getting something down. It's about opening the channel and then allowing the flow to happen. You all know what I'm talking about. Like for me, if somebody says, hey, paint me a horse, and I sit down and try to paint a horse, I paint a really awful horse, in my opinion. But if I get into the flow of creativity and feel like painting a horse, I paint a hell of a horse or a tree or whatever. So art is not about the struggle to get it right. It's about flowing with that energy. It's about getting in touch with that energy. There's no straining required. When we're trying to get it down and get it right, there's straining. And oftentimes for me, when it's the straining, it's when I'm doing my art with someone else's approval in mind. For example, maybe you're creating a commission piece. That piece is for a specific person, but it serves me much better to do it from my artist self as I feel, without thinking about, oh, are they going to like it or not. If I come at it from that way, like Vern says, it's like setting the bar too high, and then you get nervous, and then that's when you mess up. We got to just allow ourselves to flow, and being engaged in the art of listening helps us do that. So art is an act of tuning in and dropping down a well. Perhaps all the great stories, pieces of music, paintings, live just under the surface of our normal consciousness. And we find them when we're silent, and we honor that artist part of ourselves. So we are not only learning to listen, but we can learn to hear with increasing accuracy the inspired, intuitive voice of your own that says, hey, do this, try that. use that color, whatever, and learning to listen. Um, so thinking of it as we are more an instrument than the author of the work. We're just the channel through which good flows. I am a channel through which good flows. I like that. That's a good one. So once you accept that it is natural to create, you can begin to accept a second idea that the creator, the universe, God, whatever you call it, will hand you whatever is needed for that project that your heart wants to do. So once you accept that it is natural for you to create, you can begin to accept that you can manifest, that the universe will give you the things that you need for your dreams to come true. So be alert for uh, signs on the road, synchronicities, Boo Radley moments. Those are for you. Those Boo Radley moments that mean something to you are there for you, telling you that you're in the right place at the right time, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and all is well. Right? When I see the two ones standing together, the number 11, I see 11 on the clock right now, and I look at it, 11:21. That's an indicator to me to come to the now and know that all is well. In the present moment, I have all that I need, and I do not want what I have not got in this moment. My glue's not sticking real well. I want patience. I can have that right now. Patience is also a practice. So expect the universe to support your dream, and it will. I'm here to tell you it is true. We sit around and expect more of the same, more torture, more struggle, and then we get more of that. What if we sit around and expected the universe to support and appreciate and provide for us everything that we need, and then watch it happen? I mean, I got my dragonfly and I got this life on the road quite by synchronistic miracles. Sometimes it's just saying the right word out loud. And I totally believe in that too, as part of manifestation, is voicing your desires, not only writing them in your journal and being very clear about where you're headed and what it is you want, but voicing them also out loud to a good friend, you know? Wow, I learned that I desire to inspire creativity and all. And I'm thankful that I have this platform now to do that. Um, I'm thankful that I've had so much experience with, um, for years and years, writing positive affirmations and practicing patience and knowing that I don't control the timing of things. And then in the blink of an eye, it seems your dreams come true. Only you know all those steps that it took and all those, if every, all those things that happened that got you there. And like if you look at it at your life as like a labyrinth and there's a big chunk of cheese waiting for you and you're gonna get the cheese. It's just how many ways you're gonna circle, you know? And we're learning to make moves in our own best interest. So next we're gonna talk about perfectionism. Perfectionism has nothing to do with getting it right. It has nothing to do with fixing things. It has nothing to do with standards. Perfectionism is a refusal to let yourself move ahead. It's a loop. You get stuck in a loop. It's an obsessive, debilitating, closed system that causes you to get stuck in the details of what you're writing, painting, making, and lose sight of the whole. You get stuck in, I can't get this one detail right, and so you just throw away the whole project. The perfectionist writes, paints, creates with one eye on her audience, which I was already saying. Instead of enjoying the process, the perfectionist is constantly judging and grading the results. That's artist abused, folks. And we're learning not to do that. Let it flow. Let it flow, man. To the perfectionist, there's always room in improvement. I saw my perfectionist self do this at first with my art. When I finally got up the nerve to show some of my art to the world, and some of those first people would view it and say wonderful things about it, I would point out what I thought was wrong with it. How about that? Interesting. I don't do that anymore. And I don't even see it that way anymore. Um, so it is pride that makes us want to do it perfect. There is no perfect. Julia says perfectionism is not a quest for the best. It is pursuit of the worst in ourselves. The part that tells us that nothing we do will ever be good enough and that maybe we shouldn't even try again. What? What? We don't want to listen to that voice. So, a normal part of creativity is letting go. We always do the best that we can by the light that we have to see by right now. Know that. Really, ask yourself, am I doing my best in every moment? Do I need to be so hard on myself? Aren't I always giving it my best effort at this point? Playing my guitar, painting my painting, right? And just learning to accept. So that brings us to a quote by Agnes de Mille. She says, living is a form of not being sure, not knowing what is next or how. The moment you know how, you begin to die a little. The artist never entirely knows. We guess. We may be wrong, but we take leap after leap in the dark. Sometimes every brushstroke is like a leap in the dark. The painting I'm working on now, I don't know anything about it. I really don't at this point. I don't know where it's going and I don't know what's next. But next time I pick up the brush, it'll tell me what color to use and where to go, and I'll go from there. And one day, it'll be a finished, beautiful painting. I've also learned that not to try to control the timing of the completion of your artwork. That's a question people often ask me. How long did that take you? How long did that take you? Some of my paintings take 6 months. Some of them have taken years because I've stopped on it and just didn't know and I hung it there. And then, a year later, I looked at it and went, oh, I know what to do now. You know, how long does it take to become a creative, wonderful human? A lifetime. How long does it take to create a piece of art? As long as it takes, you know? Um, that's putting pressure on yourself when you try to control the timing of it, and maybe then you're rushing yourself. And man, that's been a hard one to learn. No hurry. No hurry, no worry. We're learning to be gentle with our little selves, learning to be, for me, learning to slow down has been a process. And slowing down and being single mindfully aware of what I am doing in each moment allows me to create more, to feel more balanced and peaceful in my life, to feel more effective in that thing that I'm doing. Yeah. So we're going on now to talking about risk. And the question is, what would I do if I didn't have to do it perfectly? And I've said before, we often don't do our art because we think, well, I can't afford the right brushes, or I can't afford a canvas, or I don't have the right tools. And part of Creative Companions is making art with whatever we have, using cardboard, just allowing ourselves to create and learning and seeing how good that feels to us. And then we're led to create in a certain way, and then we can start gifting ourselves with, oh boy, I found out that I like to play the guitar. And bonus, abundance has come my way. I can give myself a little luxury and buy myself a guitar of my own. Or I can buy myself those art tools or that easel to hold my painting. For me, I painted for years and years and years without an easel to stand my canvas on because my canvases were being gifted to me. Um, my paint was being gifted to me. But now I have one. And yeah, so that's how it goes. And it's so fun to watch, not just the creative process of you making this mosaic right now, but the creative process of you living your life is the most interesting movie you will ever watch, is the movie of you, right? And every day's a new one. And taking risks. Okay, here's what Julia says now. We've all heard that the unexamined life is not worth living. But consider too that the unlived life is not worth examining. The success of a creative recovery hinges on our ability to move out of the head and into action, which brings us squarely to risk. Are you really going to do that? Are you really going to take off in an RV with your art? And do you know where you're going? No, I don't. Not exactly. But I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show people my art because that's what my little heart wanted to do. You know, and we have to believe in ourselves enough to take that risk even when the naysayers and the devil's advocate players are around us sounding their alarms, right? And then also in the creative process, we deny that in order to do something well, we must first be willing to do it badly. We must be willing to hear ourselves play that song over and over and miss the same note over and over and over again. But we don't give up. We keep taking the risk. And then one day we get it right. And then one day we take the risk of doing it in front of someone or showing someone what we made or posting it on the Facebook. And it's all so scary. But it brings us a new level of healing and a new level of knowing ourselves and recognizing that maybe we've been stifled, we've been smothered, we've been bored, just simply bored. And now we found something we can do. You know, keeping our hands moving does not mean laboring. I think keeping our hands moving can be a wonderful thing. And for me right now with quitting smoking, keeping my hands moving towards creative things. I guess I cooked a lot this week. I'm trying to think what I did to fill my time. But keeping your hands moving towards creative things. And then you can go, wow, you know, I not only relaxed, my mind was quiet, I enjoyed the process. Um, and at the end of it, whenever that is, days into the process, you know, you might come back to this mosaic for the rest of the week and work on it. Um, but you have something beautiful instead of yellow teeth. So usually when we say, and thinking about our language and in thinking about why we don't do our art, when we say we can't, what we really mean is we won't. We really mean we won't. And what we mean is we won't do it until we guarantee that we can do it perfectly. And how you going to get to do it anywhere close to quote, quote, perfectly if you don't practice. So you got to be willing to just do it, to just show up. You know, I've been doing yoga with Adriene for years, and she says all the time, the hardest part is showing up. The hardest part is showing up for yourself. Showing up for yourself and going, I'm here to take care of you. What do you need? Oh, you like to create stuff? Then I'm going to give you the time to do that. So, you know, when you're saying, I can't fit that into my schedule, try replacing it with I won't and see how that feels. And then you can ask yourself, why won't I? Why won't I find an hour for myself? Well, what is my resistance to trying that? What is my resistance? And then maybe you can find an hour. Just it starts with the first step, you know, the baby ones. Maybe it's not an hour, maybe it's 20 minutes. right? 20 minutes to play with yourself. How about that? Doing what you like to do. Yeah, I said that. She said that. Never pass up an opportunity to make your friends laugh, folks. Oh, let's see what Susan Jeffers says here. We cannot escape fear. We cannot escape fear. We can only transform it into a companion that accompanies us on all of our exciting adventures. Take a risk a day. One small or bold stroke that will make you feel great once you have done it. Even if it's just jumping in that puddle. And it's going to make you feel great. And it's going to make your soul sing and your spirit laugh and all that. Do that thing. And this whole idea that we cannot escape fear, just take it with you on your journey. I realized a long time ago, my little child self is a scared little thing. And I'm scared whether I'm doing something I really want to do or something I don't really want to do. So I might as well do what I really want to do and do it anyway. If I'm going to be scared either way, if I'm going to be spend my time being scared, might as well be scared doing something I love doing. And then you know what? The fear goes away. The fear goes away. So do one thing every day that scares you. I just knocked my mosaic onto the ground. It's a beautiful accident. Excuse me, I'll be right back. See if I can reach it without falling out my chair.
I feel like it's a storyteller on Sesame Street or like it's like, hold on, I'll be right back.
Uh-huh. She crawls under the table. My eyeballs fell off, y'all. That happened to me and River when we did our puppet show. Our eyeballs kept falling off. Ooh, we can make sock puppets sometime. That'd be fun. Okay, so there's a song that used to be really popular on this idea of do one thing every day that scares you. Um, can anybody help me remember what that song was? It had that line in it, and it was from a speech that was given at graduation that was then made into a song. Sunscreen, the Sunscreen song. Does anybody remember that song? Okay, like YouTube it or whatever you do. The Sunscreen song. It's lots of positive affirmations, right? It's really good. So check that out. Um, so talking about risk again, to put it differently, very often a risk is worth taking simply for the sake of taking it. There is something enlivening about expanding our self definition, and a risk does exactly that. Selecting a challenge and meeting it creates a sense of self empowerment that becomes the ground for further successful changes. I'm going to keep talking about smoking, but setting the goal of quitting smoking cigarettes and being on day 14 feels very self empowering to me. I feel very successful about that. And it just shows me I'm stronger than I thought. And who knows what else I can do. So Julia asks us to complete this sentence. If I didn't have to do it perfectly, I would try dot dot dot. I'm going to say mine out loud. If I didn't have to do it perfectly, I would try. Oh, there's a couple. Which one do I want? If I didn't have to do it perfectly, I would try creating and having my show called No Voice, No Freedom that combines all of my art and travels around the country. So, what would you try? Can you answer me that? Anybody here want to tell me what you would try? Anybody at home? It's a good question to ask in your journal. It's a great writing prompt for you. Um, just start with that sentence. And if I didn't have to do it perfectly, I would try dot dot dot. And then just allow yourself. And in so much of this artist way, even though we're doing it as a group, it's such a very individual, personal process. And a lot of it, if you're just going through this for the first time, absolutely keep it to yourself in your journal. And if you feel like you'd like to share some of your art with us, if you can, that's great. If not, that's great too. because we're all having our own process and doing what we feel comfortable with. Which brings us, as we're thinking about others, which brings us to the idea of jealousy. Jealousy, I've often heard, is a human emotion, a normal human emotion. When I hear that, I think, maybe your jealousy, but not mine. My jealousy roars in the head and tightens my chest and can be one of my greatest weaknesses. Now, that's not me talking, that's Julia. She says jealousy is a map, and each of our jealousies may differ. Well, how can jealousy be a map? You know, we talked about, and we were talking about abundance, how we live in this world of abundance where there's room for all of us. Us filling up our basket doesn't hurt anyone or make their basket less full. Um, so when we do have that normal pang of jealousy, when we see someone doing that thing that we dream of for ourselves, um, that's how it can become a map. It's a pointer. It points you at what it is you want to do. Julia says her jealousy had actually been a mask for fear of doing something I really wanted to do, but was not brave enough yet to take that action. Jealousy is always a mask for fear. Fear that we're not able to get what we want, frustration that somebody else is. What is rightfully ours, even if we're too frightened to reach for it. It's a stingy emotion. It's a real one, though. It doesn't allow for the abundance and multiplicity of the universe. Jealousy tells us there's only room for one poet, one writer, one musician, one artist. And the truth is, there's room for all of us. The truth revealed by action in the direction of our dreams is that there's room for all of us. That's what she says. It's funny when I read it right after I said something and she says the same thing. It's just funny. Sorry.
Boo Radley.
Boo Radley, baby. Jealousy produces tunnel vision. Because if we just stay stuck in that jealousy, and then that jealousy brings anger, maybe we're angry that that person or that thing is existing over there. Um, and then there's that tunnel vision. The biggest lie that jealousy tells us is that we have no choice but to be jealous. We do have a choice. Jealousy strips us of our will to act when action holds the key to our freedom. So jealousy tells us we have no choice but to feel jealous. We have a choice to feel inspired. We have a choice to feel have an aha moment. Oh, I feel jealous. Oh, that feels yucky. You know, I don't like feeling that way. I don't feel good about myself when I have a pang of jealousy. But then I look at that. Oh, because that person is doing what it is I wish I could do. Oh, I'm so inspired. Instead, I can be inspired by that and know that that's possible. You know, anything that you can do, I can do too. I've always had that attitude. Um, I took away anything you can do, I can do better because that's not necessary. You know, we're each just looking to express our own unique self. Better doesn't exist, better or worse doesn't exist. Only thinking makes it so. So only if you're doing that comparison is it so. And if you're doing that comparison, looking at your art and going, oh, I can't show anyone because it's not as good as, let's just say somebody, George O'Keeffe's. It's not as good as George O'Keeffe, so I can't show anyone. Well, you're judging both your works then. Georgia never wanted anybody to do that. You know, hers was just so much, just expressing, just expressing. So the jealousy map can be an exercise, you know, and we get real honest with ourselves in our journals and ask ourselves the hard question. Who, you know, she gave us some phrases to complete. As a kid, I could have used more what? I said encouragement. I got some, but I could have used more, you know. And then we learn to encourage ourselves, and that's what else the jealousy map can do. You know, we're big grown people now. We can do those things. We've learned that there's a new sense of possibility. We don't know what we're capable of, no matter how old we are, until we try. I made an elephant disappear. I was in my 40s or something. Didn't know I could do that, right? I'm talking about painting. I had painted an elephant in the wrong spot. So, and it's on Separation from Nature, like one of my most wonderful, significant to me paintings. There was once an elephant somewhere where there isn't an elephant anymore. So I learned I could do things I didn't know I could do. And that's taking risks. Taking risks, you'll learn you could do things you didn't know you could do before. There's another song called Johnny's Camaro, though, which is great on that subject if you want another song to listen to. And one of the lines I love in Johnny's Camaro that says, she didn't know she could jump that high. Ah, but she does now, right? And everything changes once you know, right? Once you know you can do something you didn't know before. Well, that changes things. That opens up possibilities. Claudia Black says, trust in yourself. Your perceptions are often far more accurate than you are willing to believe. Know that you know. Know that you know for you. You know for you. Just breathe and know that you know. Here's another good sentence to start a journal writing. I believe I'm getting better at. I believe I'm getting better at facilitating these groups. I believe I'm getting better at taking care of myself. Um, so yeah, there's some wonderful suggestions for my self-care is blank. It's funny because, as you know, my book has lots of chicken scratch in it because I've done it over and over and over again, and it's always interesting to me to see what I've written. My self-care is important, I wrote the first time. My self-care is important. That's good. The next time I did the book, I wrote, my self-care is lacking. So your answers to these questions will be different at different times. Um, what you need for yourself is different at different times. We've talked about, like, we do weekly check-in here at, with Creative Companions. You could do, I suggest daily check-in with yourself. That's what the morning pages is, a chance to just check in with you. How am I feeling today? Oh, my back hurts. I didn't sleep well. I was itchy in the night. Um, you know, I need to blah, 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 blah. So, and even just like meditation, Gina said to me years ago, and this has served me very well. At any moment, you can simply stop, take a few deep breaths, and feel your feet. It's just a mini check in with yourself, you know? Things get chaotic and your mind starts racing, or your day starts racing. Everything starts moving too fast. The kids need you too much. Their voices are too loud. It's all. You can just stop. Do that a few times. Remind yourself it's okay to go slow. It's okay to take a break. Yeah. So, how are your collages coming? How about y'all over there? Can either one of you show me yours, or can you not pick it up at this point?
The only thing that's loose is the microphone. So if you hold it by
Oh,
the
I can.
microphone,
Oh, I could hold it up because I didn't get to do much on mine. It's coming along
put the
nice.
microphone.
Where's the microphone? Right here. So hold it by that. It's very musical. I like what you did there. So look at Bonnie's that she has done so far. I love that. It's very musical. This right here is just dried up oil paint that I peeled off of my palette, and then Bonnie made it, pushed it together in the shape of a heart there. That's so nice. Let's see, Donna has one too. Oh, look at it. Oh, yours is musical too, and yours are, she has little musical birds. Yeah, googly eyes are really a fun thing to keep
So
around, y'all. How cute. So please, like, post in the comments your collage, or I said collage, this is a mosaic. Your mosaic when you've completed it. This is something else you can do. Vern does this sometimes with the googly eyes he finds lying around the RV. I'll just look over and there's a googly eye. His third eye is activated. Bzzzt. So it's good to have fun, y'all. Uh, hey, what are you looking forward to this week? Can you tell me one thing you're looking forward to this week as we wrap up for today? Um, let's see. I'm definitely looking forward to abundant sunshine here in Florida, rising temperatures, and opportunities to paint on that oil painting I've been talking about. That's what I'm looking forward to. How about one of you over there? Can you tell me one thing?
oh yes, rising temperatures definitely.
Rising temperatures,
Yeah,
Donna
yep.
says. Bonnie, one thing you're looking forward to?
Oh man, every day I look forward to just waking up.
Waking
Yeah,
up, yeah. And breathing,
and breathing. Yeah,
right?
simple stuff.
Slowing down the breath, folks. Work on that this week. Love yourself more and 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 more. And next week, let's see what we're going to talk about. Chapter 8. Oh, good. Recovering a sense of strength. We're going to check in with our strong selves. We're getting stronger and stronger as we go. I'm so thankful that you're here. Thanks for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate all of you. Oh, I miss you. I miss you all in person. Hugs. Remember to hug yourself. We're lacking in hugs because of the virus and being away from our people. So at any moment, you can feel your feet and just wrap your little arms around yourself and hug yourself and love yourself more and more and more and more. And I will be back with you next week. Thanks again. I love you. Love yourself.